Being strong as a Christian isn't about flexing muscle or showing off how tough you are. No, strength in God's kingdom looks totally different. Jesus himself said in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Think about that. The world says strength is about grinding harder, hustling longer, pushing through on our own. But Jesus says strength starts with rest in Him. If you've ever felt weak, overwhelmed, or even unworthy, this message is for you. Because in God's upside-down economy, your weakness isn't a liability, it's an invitation. And today, I want to show you how real strength as a Christian looks like: humility, meekness, faith, and surrender. Point number 1, humility is real strength. Have you ever felt like the weight of the world is crushing down on your shoulders? The expectations, the pressures, the endless grind. Others might tell you to man up, woman up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Jesus spoke directly into that moment when he said in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." But here's the paradox. That rest doesn't come through striving or proving we are strong enough. It comes through humility, through choosing the lowly road in a world that glorifies the spotlight. Because what the world calls weakness, God calls power. Jesus didn't just say, "Come to me." He also said, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." Humility is the gateway to peace. Pride puts us in constant competition. Humility frees us to simply rest in who God made us to be. Take my friend Ryan Tillman, for example. A young man who once said he would never be a police officer because of the negative experiences he had with law enforcement. Yet God had a different plan for his life. Ryan chose humility when he felt called to join the very profession he once criticized. He didn't step in with arrogance. He stepped in with a servant's heart. Over time, that humility built bridges. It opened doors for him to start breaking barriers united, a movement that brings law enforcement and communities together. He could have clung to pride and resentment. Instead, he embraced lowliness, and through it, God gave him influence far beyond his back. That's the paradox of humility. It doesn't shrink us. It elevates us in God's time. Point number 2, humility transforms pain into purpose. "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." This verse captures the heart of humility, laying down our pride, our striving, our need to carry everything on our own shoulders, and choosing instead to come to Jesus. Real humility is not about self-deprecation, but about admitting, "I can't do this alone. I need God." And we see this lived out in powerful ways. Take Charlize Theron, for example. Today, she's an Academy Award-winning actress, but her journey wasn't one of glamour. It was one of trauma. Despite being one of Hollywood's most celebrated actresses, she often shared about her humble beginnings growing up in South Africa and the hardships her family endured. Charlize Theron's story shows this vividly. As a teenager in South Africa, she witnessed her mother kill her abusive father in self-defense. That pain could have crushed her, but Charlize didn't use her story to gain sympathy or fuel bitterness. Instead, she humbly built her career step by step, and then used her platform to advocate against domestic violence and empower women. She also used her platform to advocate for AIDS prevention and education through the Charlize Theron Africa Outreach Project, reminding us that true greatness is not in applause, but in service. Her humility shows us that no matter how high you rise, you're never too high to kneel down and lift others up. Humility isn't in denying our pain, it's in allowing God to repurpose it for the good of others. That's what meekness looks like, strength under control. Jesus said in Matthew 5:5, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." Charlize Theron is living proof that meekness doesn't mean weakness. It means surrendering your pain so God can transform it into purpose. Point number 3, humility remembers where we came from. Samson was famous for his physical might. He killed lions and armies, but his pride led to his downfall. John the Baptist, on the other hand, lived in obscurity, ate locusts, and wore camel's hair. And Jesus said, "Among those born of women, none is greater than John." John's greatness came from humility. He said, "He must increase, but I must decrease." Now let's be clear. Decrease doesn't mean that we sit back and put our feet up on the couch. No, rather, we stop, ask God what to do, and then follow his lead. Now let's step into the business world. Howard Schultz, the visionary behind Starbucks, didn't start out wealthy. He grew up in public housing, the son of a truck driver who struggled after an injury left him without war benefits. Howard carried that memory with him, and when he eventually rose to lead Starbucks, he made humility a part of the company's DNA. He offered health benefits and stock options even to part-time employees, a radical move at the time. Why? Because he remembered where he came from. His humility created a vision for business that valued people as much as profits. The book of James, chapter 4 and verse 10, reminds us, humble yourself before the Lord, and he will lift you up. Schultz's story isn't just about coffee. It's about how humility can create a vision that lifts others. Point number 4, humility as a lifestyle. Strength looks like courage when everything inside you wants to run. Esther risked her life to stand before the king and save her people. Her words still echo today. If I perish, I perish. Strength is obedience in the face of fear. And then there's Mother Teresa. Few names are more synonymous with humility than hers. She spent her life serving the poorest of the poor in Calcutta, often in conditions most couldn't imagine. Yet when asked how she endured it, her answer was simple. Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. That's humility distilled down to its essence. It's not about lowering yourself for the sake of lowering yourself. It's about lifting others up. Philippians 2, verses 3 and 4 captures it perfectly. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interest of others. Mother Teresa lived that truth daily, and her example reminds us that humility isn't a one-time act. It's a lifestyle, a daily choice to love others more than ourselves. Finally, point number 5, the humble strength of a centurion. Strength is trusting Jesus even when you're used to being in control. In Matthew chapter 8, a Roman centurion approaches Jesus. He says, Lord, my servant lies at home paralyzed, suffering terribly. Jesus offered to come and heal him, but the centurion responded with something radical. Lord, I'm not worthy to have you come under my roof. Just say the word and my servant will be healed. This was a man who commanded soldiers, who was used to giving orders and being in charge. Yet here, he laid down his authority and trusted in Jesus' word. And Jesus was amazed. Imagine that. The Son of God marveled. That's humility. And that's still our call today. Whether you're a leader or a parent or someone used to carrying the load, strength means admitting you're not in control and trusting God's word over your circumstances. Real strength is faith, not in yourself, but in the one who speaks, and it is done. Being strong as a Christian doesn't mean we have it all together. It means we embrace weakness so God's strength can flow through us. You may feel that your weaknesses are holding you back, but God can turn them into your platform. Your setbacks might feel like the end, but humility and service can make you stronger than ever. Like Charlize Theron, like Ryan Tillman, your courage and faithfulness can inspire generations. So whether it's Esther's courage, the centurion's faith, or John the Baptist's humility, strength in the kingdom isn't about you holding it together. It's about you holding on to Jesus. Because when you're weak, that's when you are truly strong. So let's come back to Jesus' words. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Rest comes through humility, through choosing the lowly path in a proud world. We've seen it in Ryan Tillman, who chose service over resentment, and Charlize Theron, who allowed her pain to become a platform for hope, and Howard Schultz, who remembered his roots and led with humility in business, and in Mother Teresa, who spent a lifetime doing small things with great love. So here's my challenge for you. Where do you need to lay down pride and pick up humility? Where do you need to stop striving and start resting in God's strength? Because when we humble ourselves before Him, that's when we truly find peace. That's when we discover that meekness isn't weakness. It's the doorway to God's power. The strength of humility isn't in being less. It's in letting God be more. Friend, I hope that today this message has strengthened you. I pray that you be humble. I pray that you be blessed. And remember, mercy wins always.